What a great psalm when just crazy's all around, man. What a great psalm. It just calms you. It reminds us, God, you're my shepherd, and I really have no wants. Nothing. I got no wants, God, no hurts. I'm good. Because, God, you're my shepherd. It's powerful. Just so good. I was reminded of that this morning, and just, man, it was just great in worship. Man, welcome to BC. We are going into a new series called Together We Stand. It's a marriage series. It's a relationship series. Man, don't miss a week of this. Man, plug into this, please. Please plug into this. It's going to be about 4 or 5 weeks, and we're so excited. We love marriage. If you've been in BC any time or length of time, you know our heart is to build strong families, man. To see that marriage is bigger than we think it is. Marriage is a replication of Christ in the church, and it's a picture for the world to see an amazing relationship that they have with Jesus, and it's supposed to come through the picture that you and I as the church set up for marriage and husband and wife. And it's amazing to know this and to see this. Our heart is to know that when you really break it down, the second most important decision of your life is marriage. It will affect your every day thereafter, good or bad. Because your first decision is Jesus, man. He is the everlasting. He is the one that without him we have nothing. We have no hope. Jesus Christ is the very first, most important decision that you make in your life, and he becomes the priority. Seek first the kingdom of God. Then you come to a place, say, okay, great, I got that in order. That is in line. Yes, I'm born again, I'm saved. And now where's my priority list then? Marriage. That's a priority list, marriage. That when you understand that marriage, when you are married, it takes first place of your life. And when you begin to sprinkle everything, the rest of our lives, off of what takes first, then it begins to affect everything else. It begins to affect everything else. And today we're talking about, is your marriage first place? Or is your marriage second place or third place or fourth place? What is it that's come between you and your wife? Where are we in our marriage, man? This is one of the things that I want us to see biblically, that in our marriage, man, it is the priority, and everything filters down after we've kept our priorities first. And marriage takes first place. Listen, if you're in this place, do not buy into, whether you're a teenager, whether you're a young adult, whether you're single, even if you're married, do not buy into public opinion that you have a 50% chance of making it. That's not even, 50% is just squeezing by. 50% is not even a great marriage. That's just 50% divorce. Like, don't buy into that. That is nonsense. That's the world public view, because they haven't done it the right way. Listen, when you get this, listen, I believe this, that you, as one who says, God, I am going to go by your design plan, what you've said for marriage, how you've set up marriage, what's the role of the husband, what's the role of the wife, what's our home supposed to look like. You have 100% chance of success in marriage. I'm not saying not to get a divorce. I'm talking about an absolutely amazing, incredible marriage that grows and grows and grows and grows and grows when you do it the Creator's way, because he's the one who designed the plan for marriage. Amen. How stupid is it that you go hire an architect, and the architect says, hey, you need to build the building this way, and here's your pillars that hold up the structure, and you're like, well, I like your design plan, but we're going to remove the pillars, and we're just going to build it anyways. And when the roof falls in and your house collapses, you actually get mad. When the one who designed the building said, no, there was a reason why that was in place, and there was a purpose that pillar was there, and you chose to ignore that, and your house fell, and you're actually upset about it, but yet it's written right here that this is the plan, and you blew out the plan to do it your own way, and here you got your own result. Church, what happens when we say, okay, I understand, God, your design plan for marriage is for me to live in a sense that there is love, joy, and peace in our home. And God, what does it look like to understand that design plan, that yes, I do have 100% chance of a great marriage if I do it your way, because God, you created marriage. And God, you're the one who put marriage in place, right? In the roots of creation, God put marriage in place. What happens, church? What happens when you come to this place to say, man, as we grow and as we live together as husband and wife, and as God has you designed marriage to be a man and a woman together forever under the umbrella of your creation, what's it look like as we grow and as we grow and as we mature and as we get to learn one another and we grow and we mature and we walk? What's it look like, church, when you get better and better and better and better with age? It's unfortunate we think, well, the best parts of marriage is the beginning. That is not right. Look, please hear this. Any athletic event, the rookie is never going to the Hall of Fame because of his rookie year, ever. Like when you're a rookie at something, that's when you're learning, that's when you're growing, that when it can be super exciting and awesome. Nobody ever has gotten into the Hall of Fame because they had a great rookie year. They get better and better and better and better. When you first get married, you're rookies, man. You learn as you grow and you mature. Marriage is set up to get better and better and better and better. Unfortunately, man, so many people sit in a marriage 5, 10, 15, 20, even 25 years later, and it's going the wrong direction. Why? Don't you think that just common sense says the more I know about you and the greater we walk in maturity in our faith and the closer that I get to Jesus and love Jesus, because the Bible says the husbands love your wives as Christ loved the church, and the deeper I know his love for me is the deeper my love can grow for you. What you imagine is as we grow and as we mature and as we learn, as we study one another and as we grow in our sacrifice, don't you just think that it should get better and better and better? Renee and I have been married for 23 years. And honestly, it gets better and better and better. And we look to next year as being an amazing year in our marriage. Yes, you go through ups and downs. Yes, you go through struggles. Yes, she has to put up with me because she married me. She said yes, and it was over. Like, okay, let's get married tomorrow. You said yes. No going back, sweat. No reneging, come on. But it was a point where it really is true. When you mature and you grow and you go by God's design plan in marriage, it is supposed to get better, and it's supposed to get better, and it's supposed to get better. Doesn't that just make sense? Man, when you understand what it looks like to say, next year I want it better than this year because I'm going to know you more and we're going to go deeper in our faith and we're growing and maturing in who we are in Christ. And in that, as a replication of Christ in the church, our marriage is going to grow and it's going to get better. And we're going to stop and we're going to fight against a downhill slide after 10 years of marriage, after 15 years of marriage. And we're going to revive it in this series to say, God, no. God, you've created marriage to get better as we go because we're maturing and we're growing and we're learning and we're going deeper in you. And in all of that, it affects our marriage. And all of that, it affects our relationship. And in that, it gets better and better and better and better and better. And that's the way God's planned it, church. So if you're in this place and you're a teenager, if you're in this place and you're a young adult, if you're in this place and you've gone through the heartbreak, just the heartbreak of divorce, but you know that God has possibly opened up another door for you for marriage, or maybe you're in this place and you are married, and you're married and you've got some time under your belt. Man, I want you to clue in today. Today is the kickoff to this. Don't miss what God has for you today. This message is not for those who are married. This message is for those who are teenagers. This message is for those who are single. This message, this whole series are for those. All these messages revolve around who I'm going to be as a spouse, who I'm going to be as a husband, who I'm going to be as a wife. Of all people, plug into this thing. And if you're married, please hear what God has for you in marriage, that it can get better, and it can get better, and it can get better. And I think so many people are just stagnant. And at times, I think people begin to slide backwards, and I think it all revolves around this today, right here. Hear it, please. Hear it, please. That God's called your marriage to be the priority of your life. Is it? Because to be 100% successful and to walk in a sense of love, joy, and peace, and to walk in a sense that this year was better than last year and next year is going to be better than this year, your marriage has to be first place. It cannot be second place. It cannot be third place. It cannot be fourth place. God set it up to be the priority of your life. Come on, look at this. Genesis 2, please. It says this. Let's just pray. God, I just ask that you cover this place, that we're here to hear. We are here to hear from you. Your word is alive and powerful, God. You've set up marriage from the roots of creation. You've set up marriage. It's amazing, God. God, I just pray over this whole room, God, that we would have a sense, whether we're teenagers, whether we're single, young adults, or married, God, that it will be a priority, that we would prepare for what's ahead for us. And we set it now, God. Marriage is first. It's a priority of our lives, the priority. Everything else comes after that. Let us hear today, please. In Jesus' name, amen. Look at this. Genesis 2, verse 24 says this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife. I love this. See, when you are a young adult, when you're a teenager, you enter a house, in your house, and I like this. I'm not telling you when to get married. I like marriage at a younger age. Number one, it helps. Let's just get honest, man. It helps with lust. The longer you wait, you might slip a little. So let's get married quicker. How about that idea? So let's come to a place. The Bible says that. I'm not making that up. That's truth. Read 1 Corinthians 7 and then whatever. So listen, when you come to a point to understand that we, under your father and mother, there is a protective agent there as mom and dad. And there is a covering there. And there is a providing there as a parent. And the Bible says this, that for this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father. You're leaving one of priority. You're leaving a covering. You're leaving that protection. You're leaving that to be what? To be joined or to cleave to your wife. There is a priority transition that takes place in marriage. Yes, called to honor your parents, but there is a transition that takes place that it really isn't about that. It's about now my life now revolves around me joining to my wife. That's where my life revolves. There is a transition biblically that takes place that when you become married, your protection changes, your provision changes, that covering changes, and then that institute of marriage becomes the priority. It's amazing. And here you see this in creation. In Genesis 2, you've got, let's just finish this. It says this, man shall leave his mother and father, be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. And the man and his wife are both naked and not ashamed. Next week, don't miss this. We're going to talk about what it looks like to be unified as a husband and wife. What it looks like in a home that walks in harmony. A home that is sympathetic towards one another. A home that walks in this relationship and friendship with one another. This home that walks in this tenderness. This home that walks in the sense of what it is to put yourself second for the sake of unity in a home. And the authority and the power that is. When one falls, the other's there to pick up. It's going to be powerful next week in your marriage and what it looks like to walk in unity. But let's get back to Genesis 2. It says this, for this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife. They two shall become one flesh. Next week is 1 + 1 = 1. It's an amazing mathematic. I am so smart, and you'd think that. And the man and his wife were both naked and not ashamed. So here you've got this amazing picture of what God set up from the beginning, church. Of creation, right in the roots of creation, the sixth day, God set man and woman in place. Here, God created Adam. Adam's all alone. Adam's in the garden. All of a sudden, God says, nope, not, whoop, you need a helper, Adam. You need a helpmate. So what's God do? Knocks Adam out, takes out part of his body in the rib, sets it all up for this woman, creates woman out of the rib of man. Adam wakes up and there's a naked woman sitting next to him. He's like, well, what do I do with this? You'll figure it out. I'm just saying that's, woo! Go ahead, Adam, you're married. Sex is for marriage, by the way, just so you know. And you come to this point. Well, I want you to see it right from the very beginning of creation. God said marriage is a priority. Marriage has to take first place. It has to be first. Yeah, but Sean, I got bills to pay and I have to work. Marriage has got to be first. Well, God's given these amazing kids to us. Marriage has to be first. You can come up with any excuse that you want to. Marriage has to be first. Church, if it's second place, it doesn't work where God designed it to work. If it's third place, it doesn't work where God designed it to work. You're supposed to leave your mother and father. That is the priority. That's the covering. That's the protector. And then be joined to your wife. There is a transition that takes place of priority. And marriage, from the roots of creation, God set marriage up to be a priority. The priority, first place. But what about work and work and work and work and work? And what about these amazing gifts called children? One day they will be gone. Can you please leave us alone just for a little bit? But when you understand biblically There's a day that they will leave your covering and be joined. There's a day that they will leave your home out of your protection and provision and out of your covering and be joined together as husband and wife. There's this amazing transition that will take place with your children, that they're no longer under your providing and your protection. Yes, as a parent, we will always do our best to provide and protect, but there is a new covering that then becomes their priority, and that is a must, church. Parents, you need to release your kids to provide and protect for themselves. That is a must, because it's God's order for them. When you understand, my children are a temporary assignment. I will teach, I will train, and I will send. I will teach, and I will train, and I will send. I will teach, I will train, and I will send. And they are temporary. What happens when your children became first place? What happens in 10 years and 15 years after we have these kids and they just become and they just get involved in everything, and at times they get in the way, and at times they're just home, and at times they just take all of our attention. They take all of our attention. They take all of our attention, and we forgot what it is to keep our marriage the priority. You are not married to your kids. God never says, God tells us they're a temporary assignment. They're in and they're out. God never tells us that your marriage is a temporary assignment. But he tells us your kids, your children, they're a gift, and they're here, and they're gone, and you teach, and you train, and you send, and then what? It's amazing because God called us to be here. This is what he's called us to in marriage. But all of a sudden we go there, and then we go to here, and then we go to here, and there's so many things in between. There's so many things that get in the way. Instead of right here, this is husband and wife, priority, first place. This is who we are. God's created this from the very beginning, that husband and wife, top priority, first in our lives. Then all of a sudden kids show up, and all of a sudden work gets busy. All of a sudden bills need to be paid, and we're just never home, and we're working, and we're working, and we're working, and we're working. But in the beginning, we were like this, and it was great, but over the course of time, oh, it happens to everybody. It's just natural. No, 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 no. Somehow, church, somehow we've lost sight. The first means first. Priority means priority. You can have, listen, my kids know, all three of my kids know, Renee comes first. Our marriage is first. You are seconds. I tell you, you're seconds. Boom. You're important, but not that important. There's a day you're gone. You are important, but you're not that important. Renee is so much more important than you to me. Really, Dad? Yep. But it's biblical. It's right. And I'm teaching them. There'll be a day that you are married, and I want you to be in the most amazing, incredible, God-spirit marriage, that your marriage is first, and your kids, you will know, your kids become second. And they are not as important as your husband or wife. They're not. They're temporary. You're in and you're out. We're doing the best we can with what we have with you, but you are temporary, and you're in and out. And you know what? I want to know your mom's name when you leave. No, it's true. But what happens when we come to this place that we have allowed children to become first, or we've allowed work to come first, or we've allowed golf to come first? And I mean, I'm not a golfer. God bless you, golfers. Like, I need a sport that you celebrate. When you hold signs that say, be quiet, that's not athletic for me. I'm just saying. God is for softball. Right now, God's favorite sport is softball. I didn't know if you knew that or not, but it's softball. And true story, man, when I first got married to Renee, I was playing softball 7 nights a week. I was playing fast pitch, slow pitch in several leagues, and travel league on the weekends. And it was just softball. And she's like, you got to cut? And I cut one, and she said, not enough, you got to cut again. And I cut again. And then there was a season that I took a very long break from softball, and the only time we brought softball back is for church and for just the fun of men getting together and just celebrating, and just that has been awesome. But it was in the way. It's a simple, stupid game, a big fat white ball coming at a slow rate of speed. But it was interference, church. It was in the way. It can be anything that the enemy will use to get in the way. And just because something is good It can still get in the way. Children are good, but they can get in the way. Work is good, but it can get in the way. Listen, technology is good, but it can get in the way. You can spend so many hours on social media and so many hours on technology that you just completely ignore everyone else in your home. Technology is good. We're able to get the messages out even worldwide because of technology, which is great. But when that takes place of communication between a husband and wife, when that takes place, more important than spending time with husband and wife, we went from here to here, to here, to here. And it's this slow fade of where are we? What happened to us? Boom, boom, boom. And when we're supposed to be, no. We got to fight. It's a priority that we got to make this thing priority. It's first. Nothing can get in the way of us. Nothing and no one and no stuff. And work can't be long enough. And children, God bless them, but they're temporary. And then social media, whatever that looks like for you in your house, it can be just limited to a point of it's not going to get in the way of us. Because in our home, we're the priority. Because God said so. Hebrews 13:4, you can turn there if you want. Hebrews 13:4 says this, that marriage is to be held in honor among all. I love this marriage, that institute of marriage that God set forward so many thousands and thousands and thousands of years, 4,000 plus years before that was ever penned. In Genesis 2, which we just read, God says, listen, that institution of marriage between a husband and wife, God's the one who designed that. God's the one who planned that. One woman, one man for life, in marriage, the way God planned it. God says that institute of marriage is to be held in honor. I love this word honor. It means that is the priority, that it is so valuable that God says that it is priceless. Isn't it amazing that the creator of marriage says the way I have set it up, that it's priceless, that it's valuable, that it's honorable. Do we treat our marriage in that place? Is our marriage of top priority? Do we come to a place in Hebrews 13:4 and just look and say, God, you said that marriage between husband and wife that you set up where two become one, in that institute of marriage, God, you said that is so honorable and so valuable, that this word's honorable. It means even to a point that you can't put a price on it. Is that your marriage? Does that define your marriage? God, our relationship is priceless. My marriage is so valuable, God, that I can't let anything get in the way of this. No one, no stuff am I gonna let take us from here to here. Like what's right here? What's in the middle here? Because we say, oh, Sean, that's just a little gap. It's not much. You know, if you're just off target just a little bit over a long course of time, you completely miss your mark. Marriage is to be held in honor among all. I love the among all because it's not talking about to the marriage. Yes, it's reference to those who are married, but it's reference to all. Young people, hear this, please. If you're single in this place, you need to hear this. What is your position in marriage? Well, I don't have to worry about that. You should. What happens if you set your mind right, straight, right now, to know that when I get married, it will be the priority. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to come to a place before marriage. I've set it together because I know what God says. Listen, church, when Renee and I got pregnant, when we knew that we got pregnant, there was a sense where we started studying biblically what's it look like to be a parent, so we're prepared. When Carter came, we were ready to be parents in a sense of biblical, that this is our responsibility. This is how we're going to teach and train. This is what we're going to do with this child. This is God's gift. But even in marriage, like, what are you doing to prepare before you get to the altar? Don't just say, well, we'll prepare for pre-marriage counseling. Well, that's good. That's about 4 or 5 sessions with me. And you think that that's all it's going to take? What if you seriously came to a place to say, God, marriage is to be held in honor among all, and I am single, and I get it, and God, I know I'm setting it now, today, that my marriage will be the priority of my life. It will not be second. It will be first. And the marriage bed is undefiled. For fornicators and adulterers, God will judge. That's the rest of that verse. Isn't it amazing that it covers those who are married and those who aren't married? Therefore, marriage is to be held in honor among all, those who are married and those who are not married. Don't ever let the devil, don't ever let the world, don't ever let popular opinion define marriage for you, ever. They didn't create it, they got no right to do that. Marriage is to be held in this place of first priority. Marriage is to be held in this place of honor. Marriage is to be held in this place of priceless. My marriage is priceless. And when I know that, I guard it. And there is nothing, and there is no one, and there is no stuff that's ever going to take me to this, to that, because we work at it. Proverbs 31:10 says this, an excellent wife who can find, for her worth or her value is far above jewels. Her worth or her value. Man, wouldn't it be amazing, wives, if you had a husband that says, do you know my worth? Why is this more important to you than I am? Listen, a man will take care of what he values. Look at his truck. True. What happens when a husband understands, honey, you are an excellent wife? Who can find, man, I found that. An excellent wife who can find for her worth. We're talking about value. We're talking about marriage held in that place of honor and held in that place of value, held in that place to say, God, I want to do it your way. I don't want marriage to be second place. I don't want my wife to be second place. I don't want my husband to be second place. God, bring it back to a place of priority. God, it has to be first. And in that, God, you've said 100% chance of love, joy, and peace when we've done it the Creator's way and got rid of our ways and tried to take this out and take that out of God's design plan. But no. God, you said that my wife, an excellent wife, her value, her worth is far above money, is far above work, is far above any other female on this planet. God, that's who she is to me. She is my value. She is my first. And in that, God, we're putting this marriage back on top. But ladies, you're not off the hook because it says an excellent wife. It doesn't say any wife. It says an excellent wife. It doesn't say husbands, your wives. It says your excellent wife, your virtuous woman, a woman of honor, a woman of integrity. Because if you read Proverbs 31, 4 times it says her and her household, her and her household, her and her household, her and her household. Ladies, get this. Guess what your priority is your household. Guess what your priority is your household. That defines the excellent wife. Who can find? You realize that you're rare? Go ahead, pinch your husband and say, I'm rare. Whoop! Husband, you don't understand, man. You are so valued. And maybe, just maybe, I haven't treated you the value that you so deserve. And maybe I put work ahead of you. Maybe the wife is more so even than the husband to put the children's first. That's the wife at times can make that mistake, even more so than the husband. Maybe this computer thing has just totally gotten our way of marriage, and maybe television has gotten away of our marriage, or whatever your list is. Maybe it's softball, maybe it's golf, maybe it's whatever, I don't know, but I'm just saying, what is it that caused us to go here? And God says, no, man, it is the priority. Or this. And if we're here, what's it take to come back to a place to say, no, I want this year to be our best year in marriage. I'm not into that rookie phase. I'm not into say, well, it was supposed to just be good in the beginning. That's a lie, church. Why would we buy into that? We come to a place and say, no, as I know you and as our relationship matures and as we continue to sacrifice. Again, Renee and I have been married for 23 years, and I can honestly say it gets better because there's still yet more sacrificing to go. There's still yet more maturing to go. There's still yet more learning to go. There's still yet more, Jesus, I'm falling more in love with you. The longer I'm here, the more worship the more I see you in your word and your grace in you, the more I love you. You're teaching me that that's how I'm supposed to love Renee. And in that, there's maturity. And in that, there's growth. You come to a point to say it's no longer allowed to be second. And you got to make that choice. Come on, just bow your heads, please, just for a moment. Husbands, grab your wife's hand. If you're married in this place, grab hands and just say, listen, it's no longer allowed. It's not allowed to be second. It has to be first. It's no longer allowed to be third place. It's no longer allowed to be fourth place. Church, it takes an intention. It takes to be on purpose in this. There's times that you got to work at this. There's times you got to say, no, I need a day off. And I tell you, this is my struggle, man. I'm telling you, as a pastor of this church, I have such a hard time at turning it off. I just can't turn it off. And Renee's like, Sean, Monday's our day. Turn it off on Monday. I'm telling you my own struggle as a pastor. Monday has to be her day. It's our Sabbath. It's our time. And I'm dealing with this. This is not a message just for you. I deal with this. God's showing me, Sean, Monday's her day. Turn it off. You come to this place this morning to say, okay, is our marriage first place? Or has work kind of crept in there? Or has the kids kind of crept in there? Or has this or that kind of crept in there? And we come to a point in a moment of decision to say, no, today we go back to God's design plan. No, today we go back to our marriage being first place. And that means change. That means work. But it's worth it. It's worth it. Lord, we just come to you in this moment, just in this moment. If there's anyone here in marriage who just says, man, I know that it's not the priority. I know that even in my wife, I know that she's doing her part, but she's just not first in my life. God, forgive me. Change some things in me. No longer will work be first place. No longer will children be first place. You got to know there's change in that. There's work in that. It's going to be challenging at times to come back to that place and say, no. We've made a decision. Our marriage is first. It's first. It's the priority. God said so. And then things change. And as Brendan is going to sing, I just ask that you just stay seated and you just come to a place as husband and wife and you just pray. Say, starting today, things change. We'll work on it. There'll be challenges. There'll be setbacks, but it changes. Today, marriage becomes first place again. Today, we start a journey that next year is so much better than this year. Today, as husband and wife, together, unified, we say it's time to change. It's time to say first place. You take first place in my life. You take first place in my life. Argue about it. That'd be great. No, honey, you take first place. Be children about it. No, honey, you get first place, and then act on it. I'll show one another who gets first place in your life. Lay things down for your husband and for your wife. Do whatever it takes to say we'll work hard at this thing, and this year could be just an incredible year in our marriage, and this year could be a year of restoration. This year could be a year of reconciliation. This year, when marriage becomes a priority, our marriage, our home, our house can be restored back to the way it once was. Because somehow in this thing called life, we've lost sight. But today's a new day. Today, we pray before a holy God to say, God, today matters. And today we decide we go back to the roots of creation and say, our marriage is first.